Alright, let's see what's going around with some news. Let's start with the Mr. Timu Obama. What do you got? Jeffries lashes out when asked whether he condemns anti-ICE riots in LA. Claims there were no riots in LA. Damn, really? Oh man.
How are you planning?
Because I have a lot of footage.
The LA riots?
To be honest.
I haven't seen that resolution, but obviously I disagree with the classification, which of the notion that there were riots in Los Angeles. Certainly there was unrest. Any unlawful behavior, people who assault police officers, who damage property, who break the law, they should be held accountable. We will not be lectured by extreme MAGA Republicans about questions of law and order. Are you kidding me? This group that actually supported President Trump pardoning hundreds of violent felons who brutally beat police officers in plain view in front of hundreds of millions of Americans, and then on day one, Donald Trump breaks every promise that he made to the American people to make their life better. But then he issues a blanket pardon.
Yeah, so he has to be real. So he can enact those policies day one, just like Biden could. Yeah, sure. Yeah, no president can fucking do it. How to riot according to Hakeem Jeffries. Oh yeah, this is just the street takeovers. Oh no! Oh wait, no, that was one of the. No, okay, no, that was one of the. Yeah, that was actually one of the. I mean, there have been street takeovers as well. Not a part of LA, the riots. So it's just like Yeah, not a riot, by the way. As they throw objects that could definitely hurt the police officers. Look at that dude. That dude has a bike lock.
I haven't seen
that thing is made out of fucking like iron.
I disagree with the classification, which of the notion that there were
gonna beat someone, beat a car with that.
Wow, you are blind.
Yeah, breaking the law, vandalizing shit. The unlawful assembly, right? LSE mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani is confronted for using fake accents depending on who he's speaking to. He's not the only one. Oh, this guy, yeah.
Your socialism or to your social media?
I think that there's a combination of those things, because I think that New Yorkers, more than they hate a politician they disagree with, they hate a politician they can't trust.
On the subject of trust, you've adopted different speaking accents in different scenarios.
But they go to their local bodega.
Is there one that's real and one that's affected?
What I would say is, as any immigrant knows, having been born in Kampala, Uganda, and then raised in South Africa and moving here when I'm 7 years old, is there are different parts of my life.
A worldwide tour is a worldwide tour is a worldwide tour.
Mamdani was talking about a worldwide press tour back when he was a rapper.
Bring the flavor to the fish, bring the flavor to the rice.
In a Disney movie directed by his mother.
Nepotism and hard work goes a long way. Here in New York City, this is how I speak, this is how I am.
Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan?
Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan? What a narcissistic fuckhead. Yeah, that's the same people that they want to enact for NYC, for mayoral.
Why would you look at that? That
or a mayor
isn't happening, just keeps happening. Strange. But anyway, rape charge against asylum seeker and migrant hotel.
Oh no, more migrants causing issues.
Shadow Justice Secretary.
Oh no, say it ain't
so,
man.
a national security emergency because it is. A rape charge against a man staying in a taxpayer-funded
who
migrant
couldn't have
hotel
seen this
was
coming, you
covered
know?
up to avoid inflaming community tension, it has been revealed. The asylum seeker was charged with rape and voyeurism after the alleged attack on a woman on June the 11th. He appeared at Portsmouth Magistrates Court earlier this month and has since been remanded in custody. Local councillors were warned not to speak about the suspect's housing, the Sun has reported, because basically whenever you remind people about how much the government is absolutely screwing over them and their communities and their children and their daughters, people tend to get a little bit upset about that. Rightfully so, mind you. But if you get angry about women in your community being sexually assaulted, then you're a filthy racist and you should shut your mouth.
No,
shut your
I'm
mouth for the sake
racist.
of diversity. A council officer raised fears about
Just
community
like
tension,
this.
with another privately urging a prominent councillor not to share privileged confidential information after he took to social media to express his frustration. Portsmouth Independence Party leader Councillor George Madwick said, "This is precisely why the public don't trust politicians and public bodies. Things are being hidden that should be disclosed." And yes, I think if something is a severe threat to the local community, then they should be made aware of it. I just think that's the right thing to do. But it's a case of, no, we don't want people getting mad about our plans. So everybody shut your mouth. Screw that girl. Anyway, well, someone did. Sorry, that was a bad one. That was bad. I'm sorry. Not often I apologise for jokes as well. Anyone involved in any form of cover-up from disclosure to the public should question their role in a publicly funded position. Portsmouth City Council also appeared to admit that it chose not to make any.
And then you got politicians like this who
about
do this
local
shit, and it's just like,
responding
you
with
know, you
fury.
got some.
Man,
You got
people
some
keep getting
issues,
really
right?
angry about their daughters being sexually assaulted. How selfish. How selfish can you be? Shut up.
Or you got a politician like this
migrants.
fucking
we need
dumb
wage slaves.
bitch.
A spokesman said, "We knew that the Home Office accommodation link would become public knowledge through the court proceedings, and based on events elsewhere in the country, we're conscious there may be community tensions related to it." I like how they're now very, very aware that the public is fucking fed up. The public is just fed up with this stuff, and they know that they're going to react rather violently, and rightly so, if you ask me, especially when it comes to young women being sexually assaulted. So they're just
we
covering it up now.
we
They're
can
just
get
not
this
telling
guy
anyone.
on the right.
Basically, there is a
In
severe
Florida,
threat to the
they have
local
these
community, and the government's
two
going,
police
"Shh,
sheriffs
don't
that
tell them.
just they
Don't
know
tell
how
them."
to fucking
and
say the right
so these
thing.
people can still let their daughters roam the streets at night when there's a migrant hotel nearby.
Well,
It's weird
you.
what keeps happening at migrant hotels. It's weird anytime a migrant
This is
hotel
like
pops
Jesus
up,
Christ.
a bunch of schoolgirls keep getting messages on Facebook
They
from a
literally
bunch of
dropped the
strange
fucking
men
nuke on
asking for their phone
people.
numbers and asking to meet up with them and stuff like that.
Damn.
That keeps happening. It's strange that, isn't it? But shh, you're not allowed to talk about it, you dirty, dirty racist.
Yeah.
However, the revelations were met with fury from both
you're
Shadow
racist,
Justice Secretary Robert
a
Jenrick and Reform
bigot
UK
and a
leader Nigel
murderer.
Farage. Jenrick told
Or
the
a
Sun
school
that the
shooter for
perception of a
saying
migrant
those
cover-up
things.
was growing. He added, "The illegal small boat crossings are a national security emergency," because they are. We've seen terrorism, murders and rapes from those who've come here illegally. It's outrageous. Women in towns with asylum hotels shouldn't have to live in fear. I agree. The authorities must trust the public with the truth and act to protect them. Meanwhile, Farage demanded those involved in hiding the truth face the sack. Absolutely. Absolutely, because if you're in a job as a public servant and you are not serving the public, in fact, you are withholding information to protect your little plans for mass migration at risk to the public, then yeah, you don't belong in that position. You're
Yeah.
not serving the public, you're serving a bunch of foreigners because you need wages. You need
Right.
bodies for the upcoming war with Russia, China, and Iran. And you see when you go in there, go up to them with conscription
He
papers,
knows
what do you
what's
think's
up.
gonna
Yeah,
happen?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
that plan will work out. He claimed the council officials who hid the truth about these serious allegations
buddy.
should immediately face the sack. Decent people are getting
More
angrier
flesh
every day. Yes,
for
they
the
are.
machine.
Revelations about an alleged cover-up come just days after Baroness Casey's damning grooming gangs probe admitted that authorities were in denial about the ethnicity of the perpetrators. Now, a lot of police officers, especially
Yeah,
the
you
ones
don't
I've
want
spoke to,
this,
they
right? I mean,
know
you're already
full well
having
they're
this
just
issue in a
not
bunch of
allowed to
countries,
talk
right?
about it. That's an elephant in the room that they are just not allowed to point out. But anyway, Casey, who revealed that there was an example in Rotherham of a document redacting the ethnicity of the Pakistani perpetrator with Tipp-Ex, said, "I thought whoever did that inadvertently was giving ammunition to the English Defence League that were every week in and out campaigning and doing their stuff in that town." I think the problem is that people are worried about being called racist. That is what it is. That was, you've even had police officers, and this isn't me, this was even reported in the media, that police officers didn't want to come out and say Pakistani grooming gangs because they were worried about being called racist. That's why. So basically it was covered up because people were very, very worried about mean things being said to them, because there was a time when being labelled as a racist was an awful, awful, terrible thing, and nobody wanted it because your entire life would be ruined. So it created a chilling effect where people would totally toe the line.
And now this
sure
is in the UK.
Happen, and as a result, a bunch of
young
girls got
you
raped.
Basically have the same shit happening
in diversity.
Where this shit just is
if good people don't grasp difficult things, bad people will. And that's why we have to do
Epstein
it as a society. In her report, Casey added, flawed data is used repeatedly to dismiss claims about Asian grooming gangs as sensationalized, biased, or untrue. This does a disservice to victims and indeed all law-abiding people in Asian communities, and plays into the hands of those who want to exploit it to sow division. Okay, if you're worried about that, then do something about it. It's like, oh, they're using it to sow division. Look, I'm sorry, but I think gangs that prey on children is a bit of an issue.
That's your problem.
This shouldn't be a left or right thing.
Yeah.
It just shouldn't be a left or right thing. Grooming children is for a fact bad, and we should stop it. Don't do this. I'm actually pro-grooming children because that big right-wing, far-right racist chud Tommy Robinson is against it, and everyone. It's a dumb mindset. Absolutely dumb mindset. And it counts for the left as well. Don't hate an objectively good idea that would benefit everyone if it was implemented just because the left want it. Right? That is dumb. Yeah. That's dumb. But basically there's been too much division between either side that even if one side wants an objectively good thing
literally
that would benefit
all of
everyone,
the
other side is going, no. And harassing the hell out of it, and then none of it passes. And we don't get any. This is why we can't have nice things. Right? Because the government and the media have turned us all against each other in the worst possible way. Where even if one side's trying to do something good, the other side will prevent it just because, but it's my enemies. Right? This is bad. This is a bad mindset to have. And as a result, things like this happen. Responding to the Sun's report, the government said, we have taken action to ban foreign nationals who commit sexual offences from being granted asylum. Wow, how nice. I mean, I thought that would have been the case in the first place.
Fucking AOC.
But apparently it wasn't. You would think.
Yeah, people like this who do the
we can have some
shit,
migrants,
right?
but if they've done like X, Y, or Z, then
like
absolutely not. They can't come in. You know, they serve their prison sentence and then immediate deportation. You would think that would be the case, but apparently it wasn't. That's very concerning. That's very, very worrying.
Their own constituents, they would rather leave them for dead.
All of this is an absolute joke. Every single bit of this is an absolute joke. And it is a case, there is a chilling effect in the police where they don't want to talk about it. And if you can't openly talk about a problem, then you cannot solve that problem. And that is why decades later, we are still here, still talking about this shit.
Yeah. The same old, still talking about the same old shit.
Assisted dying set to become law in England and Wales.
Oh, assisted dying to
MPs
become law in the UK?
I have a
Wow.
opinion on this one, but I'll save it for the end. Terminally ill people
actually not really, because in the US there's assisted suicide
from doctors and panel. Terminally ill people in England and Wales are to be given the right to an assisted death in a historical societal shift that will transform
I think in Oregon there's
care.
assisted
After
suicide.
months of argument, MPs narrowly voted in favour of a private members' bill introduced by Labour's Kim Ledbetter, which could become law within 4 years. Her bill, which was passed by 314 to 291 votes, a majority of 23, was hailed by campaigners as a day for the history books where facts have prevailed over fear. The emotional debate in Parliament was dominated by pleas from opponents of the bill for stricter safeguards against coercion by abusers. That's something we're definitely going to touch on, because that is becoming a huge problem in Canada. Concerns from disabled people and warnings about the fundamental change in the power of the state when granted new rights over life and death. I do not under any circumstances like the state having more power,
problem
especially when it comes to life and death. The Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, voted in favour of the bill while MPs were given a free vote. It will head to the House of Lords and peers are not expected to block its progress, though opponents said that they would continue to fight the bill there. Royal assent is widely expected by the end of the year. It will give people with less than 6 months to live in England and Wales the right to an assisted death after approval from 2 doctors and a panel including a psychiatrist, social worker and senior lawyer. Opening the debate, Ledbetter said now was the time to seize the moment, to correct the profound injustices of the status quo and to offer a compassionate and safe choice to terminally ill people who want to make it. The Labour MP for Spen Valley said it was not a choice between living and dying, it is a choice for terminally ill people about how they die. She said rejecting the bill was not a neutral act, it is a vote for the status quo, and it fills me with despair to think MPs could be here in another 10 years' time hearing the same stories.
I didn't know.
People and families were in the public galleries watching the debate and at a rally in Parliament
Apparently
Square.
California now
Dame
has it.
Esther Ranson, terminally ill with lung cancer, whom Starmer promised
all the green
he would make
states are the ones
time
that
to
have
debate the
assisted
bill,
suicide.
said she had never quite believed it would come to pass. It
I'm
won't come in
surprised
my
they even.
lifetime.
Wow.
I won't live long enough.
I guess they made
but I am
this
so
legal
relieved
recently.
It will help future generations to look forward to a good death.
When did they make it in California legal?
I'm astonished I have lived to see this moment, she said. Concerns were raised by disability activists who held a protest outside Parliament, and MPs opposed to the bill made passionate pleas that it would lead to people being coerced into ending their lives early. Yes, because it's already happening in Canada. Hey, you know, you're kind of fucked, eh?
That's why.
and we need the bed, so... Fucking, that's the problem. That's the thing that's happening. You're even getting veterans that are like calling up basically the Canadian version of the VA or whatever,
and they revised it not too long
I'm
ago,
depressed,
3 years
I
ago.
got blown up, I'm in chronic pain, and they're like, I need
shit.
some support, and they're literally on the phone going, have you considered fucking dying? Right, they're recommending it to everyone. There's even people that are getting assisted dying for depression.
Oh, that's...
They've had assisted dying for depression, and again, I'm going to touch on it at the end. The Bishop of London, Sarah Mullally, a former chief nursing officer for England, said it would be a service introduced amid multiple risks to the most vulnerable, including serious shortfalls in social and palliative care. It does not prevent terminally ill people who perceive themselves to be a burden to their families and friends from choosing assisted dying, she said. And it would mean that we became a society where the state fully funds a service for terminally ill people to end their own lives, but shockingly only funds around 1/3 of palliative care. Now, that's the funny thing is, basically, it's to save money.
Yeah.
This is to save money. This is to empty beds. This is to save appointment time. This is the thing that will finally get those NHS waiting lists down. We're just gonna kill them, right? That's what's going to happen. Basically, the NHS is not coping.
I mean, there's been a lot of
coping right now.
Remember that one case with the one fucking doctor in the US that had
this is to save money.
This
to save money and time.
He used his van as basically a mortuary.
Secretary James Cleverly said he was an atheist but had rejected the bill because he
literally
believed the
helped
right
people
safeguards were
assist
not in
suicide,
place.
and he was found guilty for all that shit because he
judicially
went around the country or some shit doing that.
Citing concerns from professional bodies, including the Royal College of Psychiatrists.
Forgot what was his name.
I disagree with Ledbetter's assessment that it is now or never, and it is this bill or no bill, and that to vote against this at third reading is a vote to maintain the status quo. None of those things are true. The Cabinet was deeply split on the legislation. Cabinet ministers to join Starmer voting in favour included Rachel Reeves, Yvette Cooper, John Healey, Liz Kendall, Pat McFadden, Heidi Alexander, Ed Miliband, Steve Reid and Peter Kyle. Among those opposed were Angela Rayner, Bridget Phillipson, Jonathan Reynolds, Wes Streeting, Shabana Mahmood and Darren Jones. The Labour peer Charlie Falconer will take over shepherding the bill through the Lords, with backing from Conservative peers including Michael Forsyth and the former Scottish Secretary Alistair Jack. Should the bill pass the Lords, there will be no provision in place for a number of years. Try that again. The government and NHS have 4 years to implement the bill, though Ledbetter said that she hoped it would be ready sooner. There are no answers as yet as to whether the NHS would provide the service or private providers, or whether it would be free at the point of use. Terminally ill patients with a prognosis of 6 months will have it, and it's going to be the doctors and nurses that give them that, remember? Because that's the thing is, you've got like 6 months left to live, and not very often is that correct. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. You know, at best it's an educated guess. And that's the problem with doctors. You've got 6 months left to live. How would you know? You've got no medical training. How do you not know that this man's just telling you a bunch of fibs because they need the bed?
It was him. It's this guy.
That's the thing that you have to worry about. But MPs rejected.
Yeah, it was this guy.
Terminally ill
Jack,
patients with a prognosis of 6 months will have to be of sound mind
this
to
guy,
proceed. But MPs rejected an amendment which would have
he was
prevented
basically
anyone from
a
accessing
physician
the service on the basis of
helped
feeling
people
too much of a
in his
burden
fucking
to loved
truck.
ones. Which that's a
He
very
had,
valid reason. That's a very, very
in
valid
his van and
restriction to
everything.
have in place.
Oh man, that
I don't know
shit
if you
was
know this,
crazy.
but people that are dying tend to get a little bit
they even
depressed. And when
showed
people are depressed, they focus
I think
all of
someone
their hate and
bought
anger
his
inwards
truck.
towards themselves. They tell themselves a bunch of little lies that aren't true, right? And that goes out for every single one of you watching this that's got that depression right now, and you're taking those little funny pills that don't just take away your sadness but also your happiness. All the stuff you're telling yourself about yourself is little fucking lies, right? That's a little demon whispering to you. That's Beelzebub in your fucking ear. That's what you need to watch out for, right? See those lies? None of them are fucking true. They're fucking lies, so don't fucking pay attention to them. But that means that someone who is dying is having those same little lies whispered to them, and they might end their own life over little lies.
This was his hippie mobile that he used
right?
to
These things aren't true. You shouldn't do
help
that.
people
You're not a burden on
pass
your family.
away.
Your family care about you. Your family care about you very, very deeply. And it would make them very, very sad if you chose to fucking kill yourself just because, I don't want to be a bother. Like, no. I'm sorry, but no. But anyway, there will be criminal sanctions on any family members found to be coercing someone to choose to hasten their deaths. Oh, that's great, family members. What about medical professionals? I think medical professionals should be covered under the same statute. I think they should be covered as well, because the people that benefit most from it will be the medical professionals.
Jack
Good.
Kevorkian.
That's another bed. That's another round of chemo. That's another MRI. That's a bunch of nurse time, changing bedpans and all that stuff. Oh, shit, we've saved so much fucking money. Because I don't know if you know this, the NHS financially is not fucking doing well. It's not fucking doing well.
That's
it is
true.
actually collapsing under its own weight. It is a huge money
sink.
Well,
when the pharmaceutical companies lied about
and if you think that a bunch of doctors and nurses aren't going to just go
the Fauci ouchie,
put their name down or whatever, just talk to them about it.
Like,
that
everyone's
can't
like,
she's got brain cancer.
we don't fucking trust
like,
you.
If
now.
you think they're not going to do that, then I've got a fucking bridge to sell you. But anyway. Through the debate,
ever since they pulled that Fauci ouchie bullshit, everyone's like, you motherfuckers.
The Labour MP David Burton Sampson said his Christian beliefs had meant he was initially against assisted dying, but the exertions from constituents who described their loved ones dying in excruciating pain had persuaded him to support it. In my view, this bill has more controls than it had. The debate has been ongoing for many years. It has gone through hours of scrutiny. I believe in choice, and while I believe
we were used
as
a test subject,
it should be a choice for others. Many speaking in support or against the bill told of some of the hardest moments of their lives, such as the Conservative MP Mark Garnier, who spoke of his mother's drawn-out death from pancreatic cancer. He said she had endured more suffering and anguish compared with a constituent with the same disease who ended their life under assisted dying laws in Spain. Labour's Siobhan McDonough's voice broke with emotion describing her sister's death from brain cancer, and her fears her life would have been shortened had such a law existed sooner. From both Labour and the Conservatives, there were warnings that the bill would herald a watershed moment that could not be undone. The mother of the House, the Labour MP Diane Abbott, said MPs should oppose the bill on behalf of the marginalised. Of course she fucking did.
Of the marginal?
I came to this house to be a voice for the voiceless. Who could be more voiceless than somebody who is in their sickbed and believes they are dying?
I don't think it has to do anything with the marginalised or the rich. It has no one to... It's just people in general that want to fucking kill themselves.
Onwara said that they were... I love how they don't have to say Labour. You can just tell by the name what party they belong to.
There's a lot of people.
Anyway,
you know why the suicide rate is so high?
Well, because
life
the power
sucks.
to end life. The Labour MP Vicky Foxcroft, who resigned a whip on Thursday night in protest at the government's disability cuts, spoke against the bill, citing her fears for disabled people, as many campaigners
and then they try to go to these
right
establishments.
The vast majority of disabled people and their organisations oppose it, she said. They need the health and social care system fixing
first.
They want us
they
as
do it without the
parliamentarians
establishments
to assist
and
them
do it
to
on
live,
their own.
not to die. Starmer, a strong supporter of the law change, had made his decision to vote at third reading some time ago, but Number 10 declined to disclose it in advance on the Prime Minister's insistence, conscious that making a firm commitment to do so might be too leading when the government was neutral. Before the final vote on the bill, MPs passed several new amendments, including 2 from opponents of the bill. One would bar those who refuse food and water from being classified as having a terminal illness, though MPs concerned about anorexia said that it may not prevent that slipping through the gap. The other would commission the Health Secretary to report on the state of palliative care. Now, Here's the problem. This is the dilemma that I find myself in. As a libertarian, right?
Well,
it's your
I
life
mean,
and you
what
can end it
about?
if you so choose. I do not.
I mean, it would be the same with how we do it with prisoners, right? When they get the death penalty, this is essentially what the fucking, right? That's assisted suicide in a sense. But but those guys fucked up and broke the law too many times, and now they're a menace to society. And the only way to remedy, right, society's woes is to fucking lethal injection or a firing squad.
Support that, however. I do not think that you should. However, on the other see if it's something silly, right, then no, you're not allowed to end your life. Shut the fuck up, right? You know, it's a permanent solution to temporary problems. However, on the other hand, you get people that are just going through the most aggressive, horrendous types of cancer or just debilitating illnesses, well, no matter how much morphine they pump into the person.
Yes, because there are very rare diseases and
utter fucking agony.
Viruses and
now,
shit like that
am I going to be
just
able to look
wreak
that person in the eye and
havoc on
say,
people.
no?
And
You're
those
not allowed
people
to
will
end
not
things.
be
You have
able
sit
to
there
get
in that bed
any
and suffer
modicum
for as
of
long as we can keep you alive for.
treatment
Now, that's the dilemma.
right.
That's the dilemma. It's not
well enough for them to
if a person wants to end their life,
live
that's up to
and
them.
survive.
However, the problem is, even though I'm saying that, if I see someone doing it, I'm going to stop them. Right? Even if someone is in agony, I see them like moving the needle to their arm, I'm going to be like, no,
don't stick it in. Don't do it.
Decision. It's just the moral part of me is going to want to yank
chase
it
the
out their hand. Right? This
dragon.
is the dilemma that I find myself in. Right? There are people who are going through the most debilitating pain, just the most horrendous pain that there is no cure for, and basically they are dying. Right? They've got 4 months, 5 months, 6 months left in them, and I also, as a man, understand a person going, no, fuck you, I am going out on my own terms when I decide.
I mean, there's also
that.
people
who
who
understand that, right? I get that.
Right.
However,
yeah, I mean, there are also people who have survived past, past the prediction date that doctors have given them, and it's just a prediction because, well, your body is going through so much fucking shit, and it's hard to pinpoint what the hell is going on.
Suicide bad. I'm sorry, it's just,
I mean,
it is bad. It's no different from basically putting a bullet in the head of your comrade on the battlefield instead of
you
leaving
could
them
literally
dying
croak
and
at any
bleeding
fucking
out
second.
for hours
That's how
when you know
crazy
there's no
that shit
saving them.
is.
Right, I get that. This is the dilemma I find myself in, where it's your life, it's your
No,
choice. I totally understand that you're in the most
just how some of these
excruciating
sicknesses
pain
are.
24
You
hours
could
a day. No
literally
morphine
croak
gets
at
rid of
any
it.
fucking
Do I
second.
want you to just sit there and rot in that bed for an extra few months and experience that? No.
You're living on the fucking death clock,
No, I don't want that. But also, yeah, I don't have an answer for you boys. I am so fucking conflicted on this subject.
Yeah, I mean, hey, when your time has come, your time has come, right? Shit. I mean, that's the way I see it. Well, when the Reaper is there, the Reaper is there to get you. The Reaper is always watching.
New crime trend from the state of Texas, which is now spreading really all across the southeast.
Oh yeah, sorry, that was
Count
Dankula. Go check him out.
A few seconds.
Jugging rhymes with mugging. It spread from South Carolina. Some police in small towns there weren't even sure what the word meant until the crime started happening in their own districts.
You got people getting
mugging,
very sick.
But since a
and then you have these
less,
assholes, right? Fucking
jug is make a bigger score.
Stealing from people, stabbing people and
Sherman
shit.
Oaks, California.
Yeah, look at this shit.
The customer throws his bag of $10,000 cash, and the thieves take off. It's called bank jugging. Thieves watch you taking out money from the bank, follow you, and rob you. It can happen quickly anywhere at any time.
Yeah.
In Austin, Texas,
this has been
report
happening
more
a lot
than 60
recently too.
cases in the first
Because
half
they
of the
know
year.
that you have
in
money if you go to the bank.
Police have noticed an uptick over the past few months.
Police say you can see a driver who had recently gotten money out of a Chase bank and came to this convenience store on Telephone Road. In
Oh,
just
they fucking
seconds,
chased
the
him.
Forerunner
Wow,
pulls
they
up,
tracked him.
followed by a
They
white Chrysler.
followed him.
And men from the vehicles Two break out the windows on both sides of the victim's vehicle before reaching in and taking off with the cash.
And leaving envelopes stuffed with cash or even putting it in a glove compartment. Nothing safe.
The day before, Houston police say this man took money from inside a vehicle at a car wash. When confronted by that vehicle's owner, the suspect showed a weapon before getting away with money also recently withdrawn from a bank.
In North Dallas, he backed his car in and then
they're just getting more fucking
SUV,
brazen.
run up
Holy
and start
shit.
pointing their guns at him, even pounding on his window, demanding he give up the cash.
He's trying to block his face and shit.
Did not work because Mark kept his doors
dumbass.
locked and managed to escape.
Investigators say 27-year-old Johnson and 31-year-old Davis Mitchell followed a bank customer who had just withdrawn $75,000.
You want to know the crazy thing? You want to know? Should I do the racial profiling bullshit?
The constable talked with both victims.
Why is it
today.
the usual
The wife
suspect?
is at home. She has a broken shoulder and some ribs. She has about a 6 to 8 week recovery process. They are very relieved to know that we.
Oh, they just ran over those people.
About a week ago,
holy
this
shit!
Incident took place. You can see the video. This man was followed back to his business and beaten and robbed in the middle of the afternoon.
Police say this is Farrell Dembry and two others committing a jugging at the Bank of America on Fallon Loop Road last month. A fourth suspect waited in the car. A repairman was working on the ATM at the time.
The
fucked him up.
suspects had, while he was working on the ATM, pulled up, forced him to the ground, told him to lay there, indicated that they had a weapon, said they would shoot him if he moved.
Dembry disabled a different ATM in St. Louis earlier in the day, triggering a call to the repairman. They then followed the repairman around to different jobs until they got to O'Fallon.
In the video, you can kind of see this guy sneaking around the cars, and he takes something out of your car. What did he take?
He took money. He took the money I just got out the bank, and it was deliberate.
And how much money was stolen from you?
$60,000. I was just trying to, have a little cash to kind of negotiate better and that type of thing. We never expecting that it was all gonna just disappear.
On February 13th, cameras showed the moment he attacked Trung, body slamming her to the ground and stealing her money.
Yeah,
He
this
followed
guy.
her.
Oh yeah, that
She
guy.
stopped
I
by a
remember
bank
that
and
guy.
withdrew
Yeah.
over
That was a
$4,000 to pay
long
for
time
a family trip to Vietnam. The Houston woman's adjusting to having limited mobility, left paralyzed. 18-year-old Joseph Harrell pleaded guilty
literally
to aggravated
fucking
robbery, causing
choke
serious
slammed her
bodily injury, and
and
was
like
sentenced
broke
to
her
30
back or
years in
some
prison.
shit. Or like suplexed her. Yeah, that shit was insane. Usual suspects too. It's like, god damn. Like they cannot stop getting into trouble. I don't know, the negative stereotypes keep happening. I don't know why. Yeah, I guess busted up families. I don't know what else.
We're seeing democracy shredded all across this nation. We're seeing one disturbing scene
Oh no, not this
after
Cuomo
another.
guy.
If you notice, we have federal law enforcement agents who now wear masks covering their face.
Yeah, so in California
Why
they
are
were
they
trying to
wearing
stop
masks? If they're operating within the law,
officers
why
from
are they
wearing
wearing masks?
by law.
There is no reason why a law enforcement agent should be allowed to wear a mask. Take off the mask. There is no reason
And
why
you
a
guys
law
want
enforcement
them to
agent
get
should be
targeted by
allowed
like
to wear
all
a mask.
the
Take off the mask.
all the coyotes and shit. Like holy fuck, man, crazy.
To the protesters, I say, wear a mask. It is the law. I signed an executive order that says.
Do you know that
it
some
is
of
the
those
law.
people go
If
undercover?
you cannot
You would be
socially distance,
blowing
you
their
must wear
cover.
a mask.
Oh shit!
I also say, especially to my young friends,
Good way to fucking
This is
dox your
nothing.
own fucking
this
right
is nothing.
community.
I don't know what this
by the way.
is. This
Fucking
is like a
retards.
form of a chin guard. That's what this is. It may be a fashion statement. It may be cool, but this accomplishes nothing. It's not a mask. It's nothing. Well, I'm just taking a break from my mask. No. This
fuck are you
accomplishes
talking
nothing,
about, man?
right? It's nose and it's mouth. Nose and mouth. For me, the nose and mouth is a big job, covering the nose and mouth. All right? But this is a mask. This is a chin guard. Nobody told you to wear a chin guard. Wear a mask.
No. No, I don't think I will.
I also say to the police, wear a mask. It is the law. And the law is the law for the police. Right?
This was when...
wear a mask.
What?
It
This
is
was
the
when...
state law. It's
during
not an
COVID or some shit?
Wait a minute.
There's a fly in my
Why
room.
are they wearing masks? There is no reason why a law enforcement agent should be allowed to wear a mask.
Sir.
Take off the mask. I also say to the police, wear a mask.
You're fucking
It is the
retard.
law. Take off the mask.
That's so fucking retarded.
Wear a mask.
The fucking Jasmine
Take off the
AOC
mask.
does this shit. Jasmine Crockett does
Wear a
this
mask.
shit. Biden did this shit sometimes.
Not even close. Bud.
Kamala did this shit sometimes.
Yes.
You got it. Take off the mask.
Brandon Johnson does this shit.
You had enough yet?
Jesus fuck.
No.
That's another one.
Wear a mask.
You just say the word, I'll keep going.
Go. Mitch, cut it out.
That's another one for you.
But I was just telling him.
Shut the fuck. Oh, there you have it. There you have it. Never forget he killed your grandparents. He belongs in prison. Jesus, man. Yeah, because of the COVID stuff. If you guys voted back into office, you are fools voting for an idiot. I'm a lifelong Republican and New Yorker, and I'm so sick of Democrats. This man killed elderly people, and he can still run for a position of power. Oh my god. So the reason why some people say this is because COVID you quarantined everyone, but at the same time the people who were already had COVID and who were together with the elderly got the elderly sick, and then that's how the elderly passed away. Ooh, yeah, it got bad. Because everyone's in the house in a biohazard zone. It'd still be forced to wear stuff. Yep. Typical Democrat, basically. Anyways, there you have it. This is Civity. If you want to take a look, he does a lot of just memeing on news and stuff like that. But yeah. Thanks for watching. Give him a subscribe, follow, or like, sorry. There you have it. And that's going to conclude it for this segment. Give a like and follow to all this, or like and subscribe to all the people we've watched. Much appreciated. And yeah, if you like the content I put forward, please give a like and subscribe too. Be much appreciated. Have a good one.